I'm just going to pause there a minute to let you guys know about one of the UK's best kept trade secrets, Climador, a leading manufacturer of internal doors, external doors and patio doors, and all the accessories you need for a smoother, more effortless project. Climador offer moulded, semi-solid and solid core internal doors in both unfinished and fully finished options with solid lipping and trim accessories to suit all frames. All at market leading prices with no compromise on quality or durability, and they can deliver directly to your site. Climador's team of friendly experts can help with custom door sizes and specialist solutions such as fire-rated doors and pre-hung door sets designed for a fast and stress-free installation. And once you've placed a few orders, you'll be eligible to join their free approved installer program. This gives you priority access to job leads in your local area and standard discount on every order alongside exclusive offers and perks. Just what you need to give your business a boost. Unlock the door to a flawless finish with Climador. Welcome to the latest episode of the Talking Tradesman. In the studio with me today, I have James Kelly. James, thank you, mate, for giving up your time, travelling all the way down from the lakes to come and sit with me in the studio today.
Yeah, not quite the lakes.
Close enough.
I'll have that, though. I'll take that.
Sounds posh, mate, when you say you're from the lakes, doesn't it, really?
South Lakes, yeah. No. I'm Lancaster, so I'm about half an hour south from the lakes, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you go now, at this time, it's probably going to take you 40 hours to get to the lakes, as we were talking about before.
Most likely, mate, yeah. Well, I mean, let's tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do. It's always a good place to start, mate, isn't it?
So my name's James, as you know, James Kelly, and I've got three companies. Well, I've got two companies, but three different trades in them. So I've got Quayside Construction, which is a design and build contractor in the northwest, Preston North to about Carlisle and South Lakes. I also have an investment company where I invest into property mainly, but primarily my main feed of work comes through Quayside Construction. That's more of a vocational company. I've also started from last November coaching property professionals and how to do their construction capabilities. I don't know how many investors and developers you've ever worked with, but it's a massive gap, a skill gap.
Yeah.
I've seen so many go bang. I've seen so many fallouts. I mean, last year I became a victim of, I got ripped off by two investors, one really well-known one in the industry, by a lot of money, like 20, 30 grand. And there was a contract, and there was a project manager. So
how did they manage to rip you off by that amount with all that in place?
Interesting story, Ross.
Let's do it. Podcasts are all about stories, man.
And
it's a good place to start.
I won't name it. Basically, we had this contract for this social housing project. It was under a JCT 500 minor works. Do you know what that contract is? I'm assuming you do. And we signed all up, what have you, and we gave them the start date. And I fell for the trap of, yes, we can start early if you want, but I will need the mobilisation fee. I never got it. 6 weeks goes on. I've already given a valuation for the job. So I'm now owed the first valuation, the deposit, or the mobilisation fee. And then it comes up to the second valuation. I put that second valuation in. He then pays me for the first valuation, but not for the mobilisation fee. So I'm still out of pocket from things I've already paid for, because how valuations work is that they're only paying for what I've done. You know? So at this point, he owes me all this money. I said, listen, I'm going to have to stop. As I pulled all my men off, turns out he'd sold the project before I'd even started. And I'm like, I can't carry on this anymore. I'm going to have to terminate the contract. I don't trust you. We're now like 8 to 10 weeks in, or a bit more than that, and I can't afford to pay all these thousands of pounds to the men. And it was really weird. It was very strange. I've never been that way before. The project manager on the job, who I knew, who tendered the job as well, was defending me, and they still wouldn't see that. It just completely confrontational with me. So I went to the debt recovery place, went through the process, and this is when I found out that they, and I didn't do my due diligence on this, that they've opened a company just solely for that project. So when I got to the stage of I was getting money back off them, that company was in the process of acquisition to another social housing provider. They came back to me and said, look, bailiff time, we've got a CCJ against the company. And in my mind, it was going to be against him and really fuck him up.
Yeah.
You know, because if you've invested and you've got a CCJ, you're fucked. But it was against the company he was in that he's just sold or selling. And said, do you want me to send bailiffs around the project? I went, well, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
What are you going to recover? You know, he's owing me about 20 odd grand. What are you actually going to recover from that project? How much does it cost to send a bailiff around? 4 grand. I said, forget it. I said, forget it. So I remember that night, when I got that news, I went into the office. Well, I took my kids to bed, I went to bed, and I got up half an hour later, give my wife a kiss, and I get into the office, and I sat there from about 10 o'clock at night till about 7 in the morning, thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the wife came in at 7 in the morning. She's like, are you all right? And I'm just like, I'm like this, you know. I said, I've got a plan, but I'm extremely tired. But that happens a lot on both ends. Listen, you've got rogue contractors and you've got rogue investors who'll just take the piss.
Mate, it's I mean, one of the things I talk about all the time is obviously mental health in construction.
Yep.
You're probably aware, but the statistics are horrendous. It's the worst industry in the UK for suicide figures, and these are some of the reasons. Because a bloke like you, I mean, without knowing your personal circumstances at that time, like that contract could be everything. That could be what's putting food on the table.
And it was. You can imagine every night I was going home, right? So I'm having to I paid like 20, 30 grand to my contract, my men.
Yeah.
I'm owed all this money.
And they want paying weekly or fortnightly.
I've got suppliers. I've paid all this money, and I'm going home every night to my wife and kids with a different mask on, picking up my kid. It gets me quite emotional. Picking up my kids. Well, hello, daddy, and all that kind of stuff. It was really bad. It was really tough. But I needed that pain. I needed that pain as you know, I'm quite a religious man, but I needed that pain to learn and develop and grow. And Helen, God love her, she works for me. I used to work for her, but now she works with me for me. How far do you want to push this, James? How far do you want to push this? I said, listen, it was a lesson I've learned. We're going to have to just survive and get through. And we got through it. You know, I'm talking days before I was going to go bang.
Mate, you should. The problem is you shouldn't have to survive it. You shouldn't have to get through it, because it's one of the issues, isn't it? I mean, the limited company system in the UK is great for a lot of things, but it does allow these loopholes where when people know how to use it, like you say, setting up a new company for a single project. Yeah. It's I had this conversation actually with a friend of mine years ago, because he was talking about buying a house, and he was like, oh, I'm going to buy off this small independent builder, and he's given a guarantee of like...
Guarantee on what?
Basically, it guaranteed the build quality or the house or whatever. You know, like the big builders, you get like a 2-year snagging thing. He was like, oh, this house, you get a 7-year snagging period. Yeah. And I was like, right. I said, who's the company? And I looked into it for him. I was like, mate, it's set up for 8 houses. The minute they're built... and those houses are sold, that company will be dissolved
100%.
along with your guarantee.
Yes.
It'll be gone. And he was like, what do you mean? That can't happen. I was like, mate, it fucking doesn't, it will.
All the time.
There's no way that anybody, in reality, if you've got a small project of, even if it's 30 houses, if you're setting a company up for that build, the minute they're sold, why are you keeping that company active? It's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
Served its purpose. The profits are distributed. Hopefully people get paid and off they go.
Yeah.
But this is also where a lot of small contractors get taken. Let's stop there a moment to say a massive thank you to our headline sponsors, Zinza. Now, Zinza understands the commitment and dedication and long hours it takes to get a job done right. That's why they make the paints and primers that pros trust to do their best work. Plus, if you're looking for support, you can also sign up for pro membership, and you'll have access to Zinza's specification team. They make it easy to pick the right products and will work closely with you on site to deliver a solution that meets the highest standards. It's all part of what makes Zinza a mark of a pro. A big thank you to Zinza for continuing to support the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us spread mental health awareness throughout construction and beyond. Now let's get back to the episode, because it's the money at the end of the pot or wherever it goes. When the liability is on the company and it's a company set up specifically for one build, I'm not saying all contracts go that way, because there are some people with morals, but there are also people with no morals.
But then I'd ask you, who carries that risk?
Yeah.
So that's fair enough for them. But if I'm doing a contract for you and you have opened for, let's say here, to refurb this, and you've opened a contract or company for this specific property project, and everything is related to that, nothing liable to you personally at all.
Yeah.
Then who's got that risk? It's
Exactly.
me, isn't it?
It's contractors, yeah.
And that's really unfortunate. Now you can imagine now. Well, you see it. It's happened for years. The employed contractors who think, I'm going to go do this on my own. They've had no business training. They have no idea what they're doing. Half the time they haven't got a fucking van.
Yeah.
And they're just going to blag it. And then they're the people who end up really, really like drugs, drink.
Yeah.
And they will suffer. And it happens all the time. Actually, I'm not going to name them, but they there was a in my area there was a contractor who went round taking deposits. The classic, taking deposits. I don't think he'd done it maliciously. Don't think he'd done it to hurt anybody. But what he found himself doing was taking 4 deposits to pay off that first one because of his lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because he is paying men well over the odds of what he should have been paying him, because he wanted to be the big I am. Buying new vans, tools, buying the men tools, and you can't. There should be a syllabus for anybody in college. If you're a joiner, a bricklayer, any of that, for business. I don't think anyone could just set up a business, especially in our game.
It's so important. And, big shout out to Paul Tinker, who's obviously how we got in touch and we had these conversations. But it is all too often is somebody will get very good at their trade.
Yes.
And then just go, I'm setting up on my own. But being a good tradesperson is not being a good business person. It is a different world. And unfortunately, there are some big fucking sharks in that pond. And if you don't know and have your wits about you, you end up getting taken.
100%.
And it's one of them things, to be fair, James, if that contract where you lost money, if you would have walked away from it, somebody else would have fell into the trap.
100%.
But it's just horrific, man. I mean, those things, I don't even know what can be done to prevent it, because morally it's wrong. You shouldn't have somebody, potentially an investor that might be a multi-millionaire, that can take somebody for 20, 30 grand, that can be everything to them, while they're still sat in their mansion driving their Lamborghini.
Oh, mate, it happened to me twice last year. So I've told you one.
Yeah.
You get a lot of this fucking one. This one. So this one was a guy locally. He owned a nightclub. We did a contract for him for his nightclub. He wanted to create a flooring above his the nightclub, a new venue space that is advised by, well, I won't mention the guy, but anyway, a new venue space up there, and he was doing a barn conversion. So we gave him 2 separate quotations, and I should have known it was going this way, but he was a salesman. He's got where he is because he's a salesman, and he had me. So he didn't pay me a bill for ages, and he owed me about 20 grand. And Helen's like, he's not paid. But I always pay the men. The only people I'll delay is suppliers.
Yeah.
Because they can afford it. I'll always pay them.
Yeah.
But if I can give him a week,
yeah,
I will. I'll always pay the men. And he called a meeting in. Finally called a meeting in. And in this time, I'd found out that he'd dissolved all of his name off all of his companies because he's getting divorced. So now he has no liability. His secretary now owns the companies. So I know all this at this point. I knew which way this was going to go. So this is part of my spiritual transformation. I'm trying to remain at a level energy. If it was just 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I'd have been a different person. I'm a younger man, full of testosterone. You want to kill everyone, whoever tries to deframe you, if you will. So he calls a meeting in the empty nightclub space above. So what I did was I put my phone on record. I'm going to record all of this. And he basically just from the get-go started screaming at me. Started screaming about all sorts of nonsense, the stuff that didn't make sense. And looking back and reflecting on it, he was actually trying to get me to hit him, I think. So I didn't have to pay him. So you'd have to pay me,
yeah.
And looking back, I thought that's exactly what you were doing. So anyway, the kind of the conversation towards the end, he said all this stuff to me, and I'm thinking the more you're saying, the more I've got, because I'm not saying much. And And he was like, yeah, and I know, you ever heard of Stephen French? I went, what, from Liverpool? He went, yeah, well, once he said I'd always look after me, he would, because he protected me in a nightclub toilet when I got jumped and all this sort of stuff. Just one phone call. I was like, what are you talking about, mate? You know? And then he started naming all the builders in the area, saying, I don't trust him, but I want to work with you again. And I said, I'll be in touch with you. And I left, and I thought, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. So it turns out recently, in the past few months, he's not been paying scaffolders either. Now, these guys are a bit more ruthless.
Mate, if there's any trade that you're not going to pay, right, ground workers and scaffolders are not the ones to not pay. So.
No. So I was sent a video because my painters were actually doing, and I was telling them, I said, listen, he's going to do you. Because he's done me. You've seen him do me. He's going to do you.
Mm.
And they did the painters. But the painters sent me a video of the scaffolders coming, taking a scaffold down, and he's locked himself in this barn conversion.
Yeah.
Ringing the police, and he rang his brother up, and his brother came 3 hours later. What's going on? You're a bit late, mate. But yeah, it's happened twice last year.
Mate, there's one locally, again, I shan't name any names, but a very well-known developer that did exactly that. Small development, took the scaffolders for a load of money, scaffold firm from Birmingham, and this guy, the developer himself, mansion, Lamborghini, swimming pool, they came and put his Lamborghini in the swimming pool. But he had to leave the country, mate.
Yeah,
he was going to get some serious harm. He vanished for, I think he vanished for a year. Moved to Spain, because he had upset some very upsettable people in his actions. But this is it. You can't, just from a moral standpoint. I know the limited company system is there for a reason. Mm-hmm. I'll put it out there, mate. If you're the kind of person, I'll look at the fucking camera now. If you're the kind of person that utilises limited companies to fuck over tradespeople and small businesses and take them for money just because you've set up a company for a build, you're a cunt.
You're a scumbag.
That is it. Bottom line,
yeah,
you are an absolute cunt.
Oh,
there you go.
Do it again.
It's gone even closer. It is the biggest scumbag move, and you're killing people.
Quite literally.
Yeah, I am literal when I say that.
Yeah,
I'm not talking metaphorically. I'm talking literally. People take their own lives because of those actions. Like, have some fucking morals. And it's not a game. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a game.
It's not a game. There's people reliant on that money. There's people with families, kids, you name it. We all know it. But to do that, because, mate, listen, a lot of these people, they know exactly what they're doing. It's planned out from day dot. They know where they're going to take the money. They know that they don't give a shit. Blows my mind, mate. There's a development local to here, actually, just off the road. You'll probably pass it on your way home. Big set of social housing flats that were built, and they were being built for the local housing trust for the council around here. And the company that were doing them went bust. And as soon as that went bust, I thought, I wonder how many people have been taken.
It's mad
with that.
So when I do these webinars, you see, and I'll speak to property professionals about it, and I'll talk to them about the contract process. And I'll say to them, have you done much site work?
Mate, I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah.
I've dropped on now. I mean, I've been in business 25 years, so I've dipped my toes here and there, but I avoid it like the plague.
Did you ever come across a 5% retainer?
Yeah.
And they keep it?
Yeah.
They'll find a way not to give you that?
Yeah.
So what contractors do now is they'll add that on.
Yeah, to the job, exactly what I did, mate, yeah.
But isn't that bad? Because they'll use that 5% retainer for their next project. Otherwise, you'll just keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for those who don't know what I mean by that 5% retainer, it's when you do a... Do you want me to explain to the camera?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
When you do a contract, let's say a £20,000 scope of work for a big firm, they will hold 5% of that contract as a retainer, and they will never pay you it. They're supposed to, but they'll find things for you to not be paid. And you imagine on a big development, that's a lot of money.
Mate, listen, I mean, it would be lovely that everybody gets a 20% profit line.
Yeah.
The reality is they don't, or 20 or 30%. And sometimes your profit line might be 10%, and to lose 5% of that 10%, or even your profit line might be 5%, That's all your profit.
It's gone. It's a lot of money. And if you're collecting that off everybody, you're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds you're using to feed up your next project, which isn't fair.
It's not, mate. There's a lot of shit in the system. There really is. I mean, I guess my next question to you would be, having had that experience or those experiences that you've had, what would you do and what would you advise other people to do to make sure that don't happen again?
Good question. So what I do and what I show, what I coach is a proper pre-qualification and due diligence process into your customer, because it goes both ways. I mean, the risk is always going to be there. How do we lower that risk? So you'll follow your internal process. You'll do your due diligence checks. You'll check company's house. You'll check the social media. You'll ring the... this is talking about a client. This is what I'll... I'll check the social media. I'll ask other contractors what they've been like. That kind of ilk of pre-qualification process. Actually, one of the ladies who I coach, she vetted me quite stringently, and I loved it. But they won't do it on anyone else. They won't do it on architects. They won't do it on you specialists. You won't do it on your contractors.
It's crazy, mate, isn't it? Because, do you know what? A lot of people listening to this, that'll be alien to them.
Massively.
There's a bit of a misconception I've always felt in the construction industry. It's that the self-employed kind of undertone of like, you've got to take what's given to you. You never know where your next job's come in. So people don't pre-qualify their customers. They just take it as, this person's offering me work. Yeah. I must accept this. Because if I don't accept this, I might be left with no work.
That's true.
But the worst thing you can do is to accept it and be left with, you've got the work, but you don't have the money at the end of it. That's even worse.
So the biggest thing is being approachable, right? So the biggest thing when I go meet a customer on site and I talk to them and I want to be able to feel and see what they're seeing and what they want to achieve, the biggest thing I'm doing is, can I work with you?
Yeah.
Are you approachable? What kind of feeling am I getting? Can I work with you? If I've got a problem, can I approach you? Are you going to be hostile? Are you going to be resistant to any new ideas? That's got to be the forefront. Are you approachable? But that's got to work both ways. They should be doing the same to me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think it does. Or does it subconsciously, you think? I don't know.
I don't know. I think people do get a feel. That people get a feel. You get a feel for them. I speak to people, mate. I speak to people in my network and they'll say things to me like, oh, I've been to quote this job, big job. I can already tell the customer's going to be a dick.
Yeah.
But then they'll still do the job. And then a month down the line, they're going, guess what? That customer's a dick. Like, the one that you said was going to be a dick. Yeah, that one. Right.
But then again, what makes a customer a dick?
Well, to me, yeah, exactly. I guess what does make a customer a dick? Generally, not paying.
Not paying.
Yeah. It's the biggest thing, isn't it?
It's the biggest thing.
You can work around most things, but non-payment is... I've got a real bugbear. It's a real problem for me. I mean, obviously you work on some big builds, big budgets, big projects, but it filters all the way down.
Of course it does.
To even single-day jobs. And the weirdness... Don't you find that the construction industry is unique in the way that it seems to be that clients have this flexible payment term?
It's the only industry in the world where they can pay you whenever they want.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
I don't know.
Why do we accept that? And why does a client or a customer feel it's acceptable?
I don't know. Because I've heard other people, when they finish a job, no matter the size, let's say they're at 90, because I always say I expect full payment, 95% at completion of the job. The 5% is a snagging period, and if it's $100,000 job, it's $5,000 or whatever it is. You know, it's $5,000, but it's a bit of safety net for them knowing that I'm going to come back for that $5,000. It's a lot of money. I don't know.
Blows my mind, mate.
I don't understand. I don't get it. So I expect 95% completion. So what I was going to say was, some people at that point will get a card machine out, you know, and say, right.
But I think you should.
Yeah.
I would go that. I mean, I'll say that I don't do it myself, but it's.
Do you do it or not?
No, like my terms are payment on completion.
Yeah,
right. Because the way that I see this, rightly or wrongly, is I'm putting my trust in the customer. In that we take a smallish deposit. I only take 20% deposit. I don't work, like I say, I don't do site work. My business, as I mentioned to you pre-record, is high-end domestic generally. So we take a 20% deposit. I have some personal laws within my business.
Personal laws.
Personal laws.
I've not heard that before.
I will not go more than 2 weeks without putting an invoice in.
Okay.
So won't go more than 2 weeks without getting paid.
Yeah.
That's hard and firm.
Yeah.
And my payment terms are payment on completion.
I like that.
Now, the way that I see that is generally because I'm a finishing trade anyway. So generally speaking, what you see is what you get. So a customer can very much go, right, I'll go, right, Mrs. Smith, I'm finished. And they can look at what I've done. It's not the same as putting a bathroom in where you might have a leak 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
They can look at what I've done. Are they happy with it? Yes, they are. Okay, thank you, pay me. Like, I don't believe that that's unfair because so far all the trust has been from me to you.
Yeah.
Now, if it were to appear that there was a fault later down the line that either I didn't spot or they didn't spot, of course I'm going to go back because that's my business reputation that's the value that I'm leaving is my business reputation. But I feel that all tradespeople should be paid on completion. Maybe with the exception, like you say, of small jobs where you have that small retainer and a snagging period. But it's just the flexibility that we allow clients and that clients presume they have. In fact, I've got it right now, mate. Right now, I finished a job on Wednesday, put the invoice in Wednesday. Now, reasonably, I allow 24 hours because I think people are busy. Maybe they're at work, but listen, it takes probably less than a minute to log onto your online banking and transfer me the money. You don't need to set aside half a day, right? So 24 hours is enough flexibility for me. Yeah, I finished a job on Wednesday, it's Saturday today, and that invoice has still not been paid. And now, hands up, I am starting to get pissed off about that now, right? Because I see that as rude.
It's really rude.
Now, it's not a vast amount of money.
No.
Like, it was a 3-day job. The reality is if that customer doesn't, I don't think for a minute they're not going to pay. But if they don't pay, it's not going to sink me. It's going to irritate me. And I'm going to take it personally.
It's going to drain your energy.
But that's it, mate. I've mentioned this before. There's so many reasons towards the industry having such poor figures with mental health, but that's one of them. There's an anxiety attached to non-payment because as a good tradesperson, you're sat there. One, you're waiting for the money to come. You might have lads to pay, materials to pay. You might be living week to week. A lot of people are. I think the current debt rates in the UK, they're like the average person has 40 grand's worth of debt.
Which is huge, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
which is huge.
Lives week to week, can't afford to miss more than a month's worth of payments. So a lot of people are living on the breadline. So if you're waiting for that customer to pay for your week's work, that can be it's a hell of an anxiety point for a lot of people. But for me, I don't know. There's a part of like, well, there's something wrong. Do you know what I mean? You start doubting yourself. Well, is something wrong? Are they happy with the work? Is there a problem? And I don't like with the job that I've done. You get a read on customers, and I think it's just they're very relaxed on everything, and to them, it's nothing. To me, I find it rude.
I'll pay you in 30 days.
Do you know what though, James? It's that thing though, isn't it? You couldn't do anything anywhere else in the UK. You try walking into Currys and going, "I'll have that 60-inch plasma, please."
I'll pay you in 90 days.
Not even that. Like, I'll transfer you the money. Well, when? When I get round to it. Like, I don't know. Could be today. Could be next week. Could be whenever. But we accept it as tradespeople. Why?
It's crazy. But you know, the biggest bugbear I think is worse than not paying. Not paying is really impactful. But it's when you put a price in and they don't give you any feedback and they don't get in touch with you. They'll say thank you or.
Oh, mate, yeah.
It fucking irritates me.
Does that get you?
Really, like I did a link up recently with my mate, a really good friend. He's become a really good friend of mine. I put him in a link up. He was 2 flat roofs to do, a chimney render, and some work inside. And he put his price in, and I seen some scaffold go up, and I messaged the customer and I said, "Have you spoken to such and such about the job? Has he got the job?" But no. I told him I'd speak to him if he got the job. I'm thinking that's just rude as fuck. At least give him feedback on his price. You know, you've obviously chosen a cheaper quote.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree with you. I think for me personally, I've kind of moved past it. I put a quote out because I reckon, to be honest with you, James, I would say probably 75% of the quotes I put out that I don't get, I hear nothing back from.
Really? Is that not annoy you?
No, because I can't let it. I haven't got time to let it.
Okay.
It should. It should. Like, I'm on your side. I believe that what you're saying is correct.
Rude.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
think
really rude.
maybe, again, from my industry, I can go and do a quote. I can look at a job. It might be a smallish job. It might take me half hour. Then I've got to write it up and send it, maybe another half an hour, some travel time. I've maybe invested 2 hours
Which is
into
fair.
it.
I get that.
With yourself, some of the quotes that you'll be putting together...
Cost me money every time. I had a job recently. It cost me $3,000 to price a job.
Jesus
and I didn't even
Christ.
get it. Shall I tell you that process? So I got this job to price. It looked mint on paper, like a really good grand design job. You might as well have built a new house. I was asking them from the very start. I got interviewed by the customer and the architect. They interviewed me, which was great. I love all that. I love that. And I was like, "What are you budgeting for this? Have you got enough for this?" And yeah, we've got enough. Trying to get a figure out of them. Don't hold it too close to your chest. I want to know what I'm working with, and I can work within your parameters. Didn't tell me. Went to my QS. Spent so much time on it. It £3,000 to price the job. Didn't even get it. Couldn't afford it. So now they've gone back to redesign it to less pimp it, to become affordable. They've not even told the architect what their budget is. So now I'm like, well, have I got to now spend another, if it's smaller, £2,000, £1,500 to price it? But how many of them can you do before it becomes very expensive? So you imagine a traditional extension. If I'm pricing up 10 extensions, each of them extension jobs cost me £200 to price, because that's what my QS will take, because the box standard extensions, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But how many are you going to get?
Yeah.
Have the courtesy to come tell me that, no, I'm sorry, no.
Mate, I don't think the clients understand that, though.
No, they don't.
They probably don't even realise that getting you to quote is costing you $3,000.
It's mental.
Because there's 11, and I mean, how do you combat that? Do you think, would you feel comfortable saying to them, just to make you aware that the quoting process here is going to cost $3,000? Do you think that would be beneficial?
I think it depends on the scale of the job. And because I just got this relationship with this architect, I didn't really want to rock the boat. Will I be doing it again? No. I think when it goes to reprice, I'm going to tell them, there's going to be a bit of a... Well, actually, what they've done this time is they've got their own QS to price, which they're going to pay, which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
It's going to be an open book, which I don't mind that either. I mean, the £200 I can live with, but just have the courtesy to
It's a respect thing, mate, isn't it?
Oh,
it's a strange thing with the respect. I mean, I agree 100%. A courtesy, because also the feedback is valuable.
Yeah.
It probably as much as the respect of somebody saying, thanks for your time, but you didn't win the job this time. It's that feedback is important to then go, you didn't win the job because you're more than I thought, or anything really. Because there can be all sorts, like customers can pick up on whether they might not think you're experienced enough. You might have said something that's put them off, whatever it might be, but that's all really valuable information that gets held back. And I think if you treat business purely as business and don't take it personally, everyone should be open to accept that feedback, learn from it and grow. But yeah, I think most clients, they don't feel that they owe. There's this weird culture, mate, isn't it? It's that like three quote culture. It's like, I'm going to get 3 quotes and go. I'm at a stage in my business now, mate, where this might sound a bit egotistical in one way, but if I get a phone call now from a new client that will say, I don't know, I've seen you work on social media.
Yeah.
Can you come and give us a quote? We're getting 3 quotes. If you're the cheapest, the job's yours. I won't even quote. And I will say, I've got my line here. So if you've ever heard this, I apologise. But I will literally just turn around and say, on this occasion, I'll respectfully decline the invitation to quote.
Oh, what?
I'm thinking, like, if anyone listening has ever heard me say that. But generally speaking, Jay, the reason I say that is because I know for a fact if your value system is based on cheapest quote, that ain't me.
It's all about value then, isn't it, rather than quality?
So it's going to waste my time. It's going to waste their time. There's no point. There's no point in me doing that. And I've said it on a couple of occasions where I've said exactly that. Look, if your value system is cheapest quote, it's not going to be me. Fortunately, I've got a great client base that generally will be like, look, we want you to do the work because we've seen you do this job or that job, and they're virtually telling me the job's mine as long as I'm within budget. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind customers getting other quotes, but if you're going to openly tell me it's bottom quote is what you're going for, you tell me you're getting 3 quotes, but at least I've got an opportunity to go and meet you, put across what I do, our systems, explain the process. But if you're just saying, look, if you're cheap, it's yours.
Do you ever? So I do this now, and I advocate it, that they should never hold that cost, that figure, to their chest, because I coach this. If you find a contractor that you really want to work with, but he's the most expensive, let's say I'm most expensive, I would much rather you approach me and say, listen, James, you're like 18 grand over budget here, but I really want to work with you. How can we get it within parameters? I will work with you to get to that 18 grand parameter. Don't hold that number to your chest.
Yeah, definitely.
Just be honest.
100%.
Don't play this fucking guess game, where you've got 3 contractors. Because if you have another example, 3 quotes, this 3 quote thing. Now, if you're tendering a job for the kind of scale of jobs that we do, then I get that, especially when you don't know the contractors and stuff. But if you get a job where you've approached 3 different types of contractor, and the scope of the work is exactly the same, but you've got one guy who's 20 grand less than you, and you've got one in the middle. Well, why is he 20 grand less? Well, because he's probably a white van man with him and his son or whatever, him and a young lad working over a company where they've got 20 vans overhead. Yeah, you've not accounted for that. Now what is the offset there? Well, the company is going to do the job much quicker than the guy on his own. So if you're going to go through that process, you need to make sure that you're going for the same type of contractor.
100%.
Otherwise, it's a fucking pointless enterprise to be doing.
Again, though, James, it's like client education, that though, isn't it? Because
it doesn't exist, though.
Yeah, exactly. We get this within my industry. It's exactly the same. You get a quote, 3 quotes, and one's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But what they're quoting for is a totally different job. They're not quoting to use the same systems, the same products, the same methods to do the work. You've got the guy that's going to come out and write the quote down on the back of a fag bucket, you know what I mean? And send the text message 10 minutes later when he's sat in the pub, 200 quid all in, Mrs. Smith. You know what I mean? And then you're putting a fully itemised quote in where you're running it down and I'm coming out at 900 quid and they're going 9 and 2. Well, this guy's ripping me off. Like, mate, they're just not my customer. I'm not interested.
I like that. What a good place to be.
Yeah, listen, I had to build to get there. Like I said, I'm 25 years in, so fortunately I've got a reputation locally and also, I guess, experience in picking the customer. Like I can tell. And what you just said there, the biggest domestic job that we've done to date was about 3 years ago, and it ended up being close to 50 grand's worth of decorating just on
which is a lot.
A normal house.
Isn't it?
I say normal, it was like a £6 million house. It was a beautiful house. But that was one of those where I went out, there were 3 quotes, and the customer came to me and said, look, you are the most expensive, but we feel way more confident in you than the others. What can you do is there anything you can do? And I said, well, look, I can't budge on the labour cost, but let's see the difference, basically. And I managed to save them a couple of grand on materials. There were a few points here and there that I didn't lose anything on labour, but I adjusted some of the work and I adjusted the materials and saved the client money to bring it down a bit.
So the key there was you negotiated not on your worth, but you negotiated on the material itself, and you substituted some elements to bring that cost down. Yeah. And this is what gets people back up when you say, I'm not, this is a famous Facebook page where I won't say them, but you'll see it a lot, I'm not negotiating, my rate's the rate. Well, we're not saying your rate isn't the rate, we're saying negotiate on the product to get to the budget. Can we change design? Can we change product? Can we change this thing? And we can meet in the middle. That's a lead closed. Yeah. Got that job, happy days.
Oh, 100%, mate. And a lot of the time, it's about how you make the customer feel as well. Because that's part of the psychology of it.
Yeah.
This job in particular for me, where I found that I could get my way in, was that I'd quoted a set figure. Because, the initial quote I put in was about 28 grand. And the final bill ended up close to 50.
It's a lot, like when you think for PD, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
About £6 million house.
Crazy. Also, it's a huge house.
Full redeck. Yeah. This particular house had a guest cottage that is bigger than my house. So
It's insane, isn't it?
It's stunning place. But like I say, the quote started at 28 grand, but then when we were there, it was like, oh, and can you do the outside? And can you do? Because we've got the trust then. But where I found my way in was that the client had spec'd all the paint through Farrow and Ball, which was like, I think the paint cost was about 4.5 grand. And I managed to change that for them and save them half the cost on materials. And that was enough for the customer to go, thank you. Like, we appreciate your effort there. Like, yeah, okay, you know, we'll work there. And that was how the whole contract went. And by the end of it, they ended up paying me, like I say, nearly 50 because they added loads and loads of jobs on. But the trust was built between me and the customer then.
So how did you handle them? Can you just? So if I would say to you, Russ, can you just paint this garage for me as well? How do you handle that process?
Well, as long as it's paid for, mate, we're okay.
Do you tell them a price before or after you've done
Always.
it?
Always, mate. So to give you a little bit of my background, mate, I spent 4 years working
as a contract manager.
I was a contract manager, but I also spent 4 years in my mid-20s working as a bailiff.
Oh, right,
so,
okay.
Mate, in the nicest way possible, I don't fuck about when it comes to money. And I'm not shy to talk about money because a lot of people are. That's the other thing. I think the British culture don't talk about money. It's taboo. You go to the States, they all talk about money very openly. So I'm always very upfront. Whenever extras come my way, and again, it's learnt experience. I fell into the trap of the can you just, and you just do that, and then you hit them with a bill, and I wasn't expecting that to cost that much. There's none of that. You just turn around and say, yeah, I can, I'll get you another quote. And it's as simple as a quick email.
Of course it is.
You know, like,
it is.
I mean, that job in particular, mate, I mean, when they turn around and it's like, oh, while you're here, you know, it's turning into summer now, can you repaint the exterior? You can imagine the size of the house. It wasn't, you know, a couple of days here and there. It was like an extra 8 weeks work for the lads. So it was a full requote.
Of course it is.
But I do that, to be honest with you, James, no matter how small, really. Unless it's something really tiny, but I'm not going to bother, you know, putting a requote in. But if it's anything that's going to be, say, more than a day's labour, I'm going to put that in writing every time.
Have to. Contract variation has to happen. And there's a process for that as well. You know, because if it's a job stopper, like, you know, I don't know, let's say this is the bathroom and the floor joists are ruined. Listen, I found this variation in the contract that we've uncovered. The floor joists are ruined. This will hinder the new bathroom. It's going to cost this. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Well, let's say they say no. Well, then you get a contract termination fee because you've got it in your contract works agreement anyway. So they'll pay you to terminate that contract or whatever you've agreed. Or they'll say, yeah, and you'll just carry on as per the agreement with that additional contract variation in there. And it's not a complicated process. I may have made it sound complicated there.
Not at all, mate.
But it's not.
It's these little, what seems like a little thing that can completely fuck you over if you're not aware of it. And this is, I mean, to you, like, how important is business knowledge and education?
It's massive. And it's not done, is it?
It's not done at all.
It's not done.
This is the thing that blows my mind.
What should we do, though? Should we fuck up to learn? And I don't think that's the way to do it either.
No, it's not. I mean, it works. to an extent.
You never do it again.
Hopefully you don't do it again. But this is, it does blow my mind a lot with the construction industry is just how many people have actually had no education whatsoever in business.
It needs regulating massive. I mean, you think as well, anyone can be a builder.
Yeah.
Anyone can literally just say, I'm having a building firm, that's it, bosh. And that needs regulating.
That's terrifying, isn't it?
It's terrifying. And these people are getting employed. These people are getting employed to do work. Badly or goodly. Yeah, goodly if that's a word. But, you know, it's very scary, and it's the climate we're in. It does need regulating because there is a lot of yeehaw going around. Unfortunately, we carry that then because then, from what they've heard, they're going to judge you with the same branch.
Yeah, mate, I think, to be honest with you, and the problem is, I find we're doing this podcast, I talk a lot about the negative side of the construction industry. It's an industry I love, and I've spent my whole life in it, and I wouldn't change that. I don't regret it. But there's some major, major fundamental problems with the industry. And to me, like, if I stand back and look at the way that it's going in all areas, it's not going well. I think the latest statistics were 10 out to 1 in.
Right, is it?
Yeah, in terms of like skilled labour in construction.
Right.
10 people are leaving to every one person coming in.
It's crazy.
How's that going to sustain itself?
It's exciting for me, though. It means more work.
for anyone in the trades right now, mate,
Get in, man. Get involved.
Demand dictates value.
Yeah.
But the problem is as well. It's like I was talking to somebody the other day about apprentices. It's very rarely worth it. But how do we adjust that? How do we address the fact that now it's hard to pull people into the trades?
I think.
Where's it going?
It's culture. This. So I've had a young lad work with me back when he was on when I was on the tools. He was 14, and he was a friend's son. So I'll come help me on a weekend on a Saturday, and I'd teach him how to plaster. I'll teach him basic electrics and all that kind of stuff, you know. And the first thing I said to him to do was get rid of your games console. Stop playing it. He says, what? I says, just stop playing and wasting your life on your game console. Because what happens is you're going to become a product of your own environment. You're going to be hanging around with other people who are spending fucking days and hours on that game console when you could be out with me making money. And he's done that ever since. And now he's getting an engineering qualifications and things.
Diploma.
Oh, fair play. He wanted to work with me, and I said, you're better than this, mate. I said, you know, go higher, aim higher. But that is very much culture. So what it is for young lads now, and I'm seeing it a lot, and so are you, so is everyone else, is the gram lifestyle. They want the e-commerce, the stocks and trades. They want all that bullshit that would have worked, did work. They don't want to use these. They're lazy. It's really insane. It's really, really insane. So if you are watching this and you want to make some cash, get yourself a fucking trade. I'm telling you.
Mate, I listened to a podcast the other day with... he was a guy that used to, I can't Mo something, his name, used to work for Google and was part of their development team that developed the Google AI.
Yeah.
And they were talking, you know, it was like, what's AI going to do to the job infrastructure in the world? And his advice was trying to be a plumber.
100%.
You know, plumber, electrician, whatever. And that was just selecting plumber. Like, should really train to be a decorator.
Yeah.
But it's...
Get rich quick, be a plumber.
Mate,
I'm telling you, though, it's going to be the thing. It's going to be the thing.
Listen, this literally yesterday, so my wife is moving salon at the minute, and the new unit that we're in, we've had to put an instant water heater in, and it, mate, is literally... Have you seen them? I don't know if you've seen the things.
Instant.
It's like an electric shower without the shower. So...
Oh, no, I've seen it. Instant water, hot water.
Instant hot water. So it's just, wired in.
Of course they have. Yeah. You get them in kitchens, instant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we put an instant hot water system in. I didn't want to fuck about with it because, long story short, mate, we've got to get a new power supply to it as well. But it was just one of them. I was busy and I thought, fuck it, just get a plumber in, got some pipe work to change. Then if anything leaks or whatever, we're covered. Guy come in and did it, done a great job, not knocking him at all. 240 quid plus VAT.
Plus the actual fitting.
Yeah, mate.
So 500 quid?
And we ain't had it wired in yet. So that's another 300.
You could get a 30 quid kettle.
Well, mate, this is to run basins
and
stuff as well.
So
a little bit, it's not like a storage heater, anyway, he was there. What I'm trying to get at people is he was on site for an hour and a half.
Don't be this guy though, Russ.
An hour and a half he was on site for.
The rate is the rate.
I respect it. What I'm saying is, if you want to earn that money, be a plumber.
He could do that twice in one day though, couldn't he?
Mate, he could do it 4 times in one day.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
yeah. And why not?
Yeah.
Because listen, demand dictates value.
And tell you what, a laugh as well. I mean, like you, I have so many stories. I've just had one come to my mind now, and I hope you find it funny because I find it hilarious. There's an old boy I worked with. He's called Sean. Old school bricklayer, massive hands. Don't know why they've all got big hands, but he's got fucking monstrous hands, big hands. And I dug out the footings for this extension. We had to go deeper than the 1100 because we couldn't get the right amount and what have you. But I get to a point where I'm on the digger and I said, Sean, I can't get this fucking digger out of here, mate. What do you mean? Just put a few scaffold boards across and reverse it across, track it across. I went, fuck that. I am not doing that. Because you got through a little snicket beside the new house, and the old house as well. He said, I'll do it then. I said, all right. So he puts like 2 scaffolding boards across, fag in mouth. You can imagine what it's like, old school builder, you know. Caps on, he's like, it's on there.
Zero fucks given.
Yeah. Anyway, he reversed it across, and I'm looking at the trench, and the trench is collapsing, right? And the digger goes, whoop, straight to the house. And I look at him, and his fag ash is like that long. He doesn't say a word. And Martin on site goes, Sean, wait there. He goes, what? He goes, I'm going to get my phone to take a picture. He's like, you fucker. And he's like hissing his trench. He got it out. But yeah, it's such a good laugh as well. I mean, the banter on site is unbelievable.
Mate, it is.
It's such a good crack.
I fully recommend it, and I think for the youth of today, you want something with prospects.
Yeah.
Head into the trades. There's the money's there, the opportunity's there, the growth is there. What more can you want? Yeah. If you do decide, set up your own business, do some fucking business training, basically.
They should do that in college, though, surely.
Mate, they should.
It's going to be a join. A syllabus that should be, you know.
Again, it's another major gripe of mine is the college system at the moment. I don't know what it's like up by you, but down here it's piss poor. My son, as I say, has done 18 months for me as an apprenticeship. Before that, he decided he was going to be a Sparky. So I was like, yep, sound. He did a year at college, hated it. And mate, do you know what, mate? I don't blame him. I wouldn't love to say, but a lot of the time with the youth of today, it's easy to go, he just hasn't got the sticking power. It was horrendous. Like, he would go into college, and at the time he wasn't driving, so it was a bit of a chore. He'd have to catch 2 buses to get in, and a bit of a walk, and, bad weather, good weather, all the rest of it, fine. And he would do it, but then he'd get into college, and then he'd ring me up and be like, Dad, because at home we've got all the Ring doorbells.
Oh, yeah.
So he'd be like, Dad, you're going to see me coming home in a minute. I'm not skipping college, but I've come in again and the tutor hasn't turned up again. And this was regular, mate. I'm talking over a 5-day week, at least once a week,
That's
sometimes
shocking,
twice a week.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Tutors wouldn't show up. Or then they'd be sent home just because they'd have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And a mate of mine, his son was doing electrical in, I think it was Solihull, doing electrical course, same as my son. And they got partway through their course and the electrical tutor quit. And they replaced the electrical tutor with a bricklaying tutor to teach the electrical course.
Is this
legit? Because it's like, well, here's a book. I'll just teach out of the book.
Wow.
And this is all I hear, mate. I've gone through, I've had apprentices come through my business. I mean, over the course of my business, I've maybe had 25, 30 lads that have worked for me over the years. And I've had apprentices, and every time, mate, they come out of college and it's a fucking waste of time.
It's crazy, mate. I mean, do you remember your first bosses as well? So, I had bosses who would drag me out of bed.
Yeah, gotcha.
My mum would give them the keys.
yeah.
I'd wake up.
Well, I say that, mate. I took over my business at 17. So I was young. I'm 3rd generation. So my dad was a decorator, my granddad was a decorator.
Early then, yeah.
I started going to work with my dad at 8.
Oh, wow.
So my mum and dad split up when I was a kid. I stayed with my dad, which is quite rare, but I stayed with my dad. So every school holidays, I didn't have a choice, mate. I was going to work. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong, he wasn't a slave driver. He didn't force me to work, but I had 2 choices. I remember the first ever job I did, it was at a chip shop in Evesham. I remember it because everyone walking past was pissing themselves at me. And I would have been 8 years old. I remember going to this chip shop, this empty chip shop, and my dad and 2 lads were painting it out. And he was like, right, we're going to be here all day. It's up to you. You can either pop to the shop, go and get yourself some magazines, because, mate, iPads, phones weren't a thing, So it was like 442 magazine or nothing, yeah, which I'd read back to front.
442
like,
magazine.
Yeah. Go and get yourself some magazines, or I'll pay you a £5 and you can paint out that hallway there.
I love that.
I'll have the £5. And, mate, when I say people, there was this narrow hallway. It was probably no more than about 5 foot, right? 5 foot long, just like a little entranceway. There was no flooring, and it was the same colour up and over. So my dad's obviously thought, you can't go too wrong. Mate, I'd got more paint on me than the wall. No. And people just walking past, looking at me and just pissing themselves. I just remember people just laughing at me. And my dad coming out and laughing and just being like, fair play. And that was how it started. That was how literally my journey into the trade started. It went from there, and then I'd end up like stripping wallpaper and pasting wallpaper for him and doing all this. But that was my choice. It was like, you've got to come to work with me because I've got to work. So you can either read books and sit being bored, or you can earn a little bit of money and do some work.
Very similar to me, that.
Yeah.
Bit older, so about 10. I saw my dad, 3-4 times a year. But whenever I saw him, it was a case of I wanted to spend time with him. I had to go to work with him. And he was a builder.
Okay.
He had a construction company. And a painting arm to that as well, so he'd do the whole thing. So that included nights. I remember he did a restaurant, it's a pub in Lancaster called The Sun Inn. And it was a restaurant, a hotel above it. And I went with him for like a night, to help them on the refurb. I was 10 and I fell asleep on the radiator. He took me home, yeah. But yeah, it's great. I don't regret any of that, to be fair. I get why he done it. I'd prefer to spend some time with him properly than going to work, but...
Yeah, man. I'm the same. I respect it. It was tough. I mean, it put me in a position where by the time I was 15, I was running jobs for my dad.
Oh,
So I remember he had a hotel on not too far from where we are now. Actually, we're doing the outside. He'd got a couple of lads on, and my dad, in fairness to him, good painter and decorator, not the best of business people. He just wanted to do the job rather than run a business.
That's the ilk of that generation now.
Yeah,
The same.
Whereas me, mate, I don't know what it was. Even from a young age, I was always driven to the stupid things like... So my dad actually used to be an accountant. He'd come from an accounting background. And I remember just being baffled the once. We were doing this job and he was set on his times, my dad. He'd be like 10 o'clock, 15 minutes, 12 o'clock, half an hour, 2 o'clock, 15-minute tea breaks.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because he'd come from a background where he used to be employed. And I remember being on this job the once, and it was like we needed to finish a job by one day to get on to the next job on the next, whatever. And I remember just feeling that, like, right, let's get it done, kind of, I was ready to go. And, dinner time come. Right, dinner time, sat down. I remember sitting in the van, eating me dinner, looking at me watch, being like, right, should we just crack on then? This is me at, like, 15. And my dad going, 10 minutes yet? And I remember looking at him and going, who's 10 minutes? What you on about? You got to get the job done. Let's fucking crack on.
Yeah.
And my dad looking at me and going like, bloody hell, son, like, let me have me dinner break.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on.
Am I running this on
You're paying me here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had that, whatever it is, that drive to get things done. My dad just wanted to tick over. And as I say, running jobs from him.
It's funny that, isn't it? Because that generation, so my dad is very similar to that, although he's very highly driven. He's got like severe ADHD, PTSD, he's got it all, but dad. And he's of the generation where if you owed him money, he would arrive at your house. He did it, he's got so many stories of him. Other people have told me these stories as well as him, so I know it's not bullshit. Of him, going to retrieve this money. So when I tell him about instances like I've told you and everyone else today, what do you want to do? It's not that. It's not 1992. You can't do that stuff anymore. As much as I'd love to, you just can't be that way anymore. It's such a shame.
It is. I must admit, mate, when it comes to finances, I think I'm in your dad's ilk a little bit. I would go. Fortunately, touch wood, haven't had much trouble with that. But yeah, I've always been very, very strict with finances.
Very tight with it, yeah.
I take it very personally, mate. That's it. I do see it, and I know I shouldn't, but I see it as you're taking money out of my family.
I see it the same way.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I see it the same way.
And I do take it very personally. Fortunately, I haven't had to really do too much about it, but yeah, it would be...
If I weren't I'm a very religious man, right? I'm a Christian man, and I've took it very seriously the past few years. Let's say it's progressed.
Can I ask you why?
I tell you what really, really did it for me. To be fair, so I've always been religious. I've always been a man of God. But I've never doubted His name, Jesus' name, wherever I've been my whole life. And then it kind of increased when my kids were born. Things happened, like them instances, and I'm like, listen, I need to pray for them, make sure they don't do it to anyone else. I wish them all the best, but don't do it to anyone else. I'm happy to take that burden for someone else, that kind of stuff. And I felt good for it. And I tell you what tipped me over the edge. It's interesting you go on to this, actually, because this is quite controversial, was when Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck for having an opinion.
Okay.
And if that isn't for people, the evidence and what we're seeing now of pure spiritual warfare, then I have no idea what else you can be shown. It's completely happening. If you put on now your Facebook and you say, try it, I've now turned to God, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, I'm going to be a better person for it, I'm going to improve my life, because it's not going to make your life any worse. Of course it's going to improve your life. Watch how many people go negative on there and say it's a bad thing. Or try, I'm going to go to Hinduism, I'm going to go to Buddhism, and watch how many people congratulate you. So why is Christianity so hated? Why are people so averse to jump on it? Because it's the truth.
I'm interested by it, to be fair, James. I don't. So to put my sort of thing, I'm not religious.
Open-minded, spiritual.
I have an interest in religions. Always have, weirdly.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through a stage where I was going through my journey, but I studied Buddhism for a while.
Nice.
I'm not a Buddhist, but I studied it because I like it. I like their philosophies. I like their outlook. And I've studied various religions just through want of knowledge to understand.
Of course.
Not because I necessarily want to believe and follow, but I just want to understand it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But what I have seen, and the reason I asked you why then, is because quite a few of my guests that have been through various adversities have turned towards religion. And I think I'm seeing more people turn into Christianity
100%.
now than there has for a long, long, long time. And it seems to be a lot of men are turning that way. And I'm not,
Men.
if I'm honest, I'm not for or against it. In fact, I'm probably more for it without following the path myself, because I'm a big believer in purpose. And I think with Christian morals are a good thing for the country.
Whole country.
And the UK is built on Christian morals, and it's the predominant religion in the UK, or was. Without that was true. Some ice just cracked under me then as soon as I said that. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing, and it just interests me to hear why various people are going back that way.
Some people are triggered by events. Some people, events, isn't it? Some people are triggered by. I think it is just events. I've always had that faith in me, but events have triggered it even more because of what I'm seeing in the world. Look at Iran right now.
Yeah,
that movement in Iran. Look what's happening in our own country right now. The division couldn't get any worse without going into too deep. If you want to go in depth about it, people will say, he wasn't real. Jesus wasn't real. How can you say he wasn't real? And I'll give you some things that I sit and console myself about when I have them. I'm only human. Of course, I sometimes, and when them times come, I do have them conversations in my head, and I think, well, all them disciples of Jesus all died horrifically. They all existed. They died horrifically because they didn't deny what they saw. I'll take one of them, Peter. He was a fisherman. He was the one who denied Christ 3 times, that he knew him 3 times, and he was told that at the Last Supper. It's not got a gospel. This is 4 different persons' account of Peter. And anyway, he afterwards, after Christ died, saw him again and repented and all that kind of stuff when he rose from the dead. He then went on, like all the disciples around the world, to spread the word of Christ, which is how we've got Christianity. It's where it's come from. And you can include Mary Magdalene in that as well. That's a different topic. But he went to Rome, and he was actually crucified upside down because he didn't. This is all written. This is fact. It's there. He was crucified upside down because he didn't want to die the same way of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Now, how horrific is that? Now, how much of you as a man, as a person, got to believe in something that you've seen? If I say to you now, your top you got on is black, and you'll say, no, it's not, it's white or whatever it is. But if I say, I'm going to shoot you in the head, it's black, you'll say, all right, it's black. So how much have you really got to have seen and got to have gone through to actually die in such a way to believe in that? He's seen Jesus walk on water, he's seen him rise from the dead. What more have you got to say? They all died horrifically. John the Baptist got fed to a lion. All that is fact. There's more scripture on Jesus Christ than there was of Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great. But I go back to what I said to you before. It makes people shudder when you mention you're a Christian. Why is that? But if I'm a Buddhist or I'm a Hindu or a Muslim, that's fine. But why are you terrified of the fact I'm a Christian?
It's an interesting point. I can't answer it.
I don't think many people can, but it's worth people noting in the mind.
I think the thing that people go to is the Crusades, isn't it? is
which were completely justifiable.
The Crusades of Christianity and the fact that it was a religion that tried
I'm glad you said Crusades.
Huh?
I'm glad you said Crusades. I'll touch on that in a second.
But listen, as I say, my own standpoint on it is I'm not religious. There's things I struggle to. I'm very evidence-led.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's the way that I am. I also am open, but it's kind of like I guess my overall standpoint on all of it is I don't know. I don't know.
That's
might be right,
faith.
might be wrong. I
That's
don't
why
know.
It's faith, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have that faith? No. Because I just don't know. That's not to say that you're right or wrong or anybody is right or wrong. That's just my own personal viewpoint. I'd like to believe certain things. I believe. And I believe, as I say, that the Christian religion gives... I've seen it so many times, mate. I've seen many people who have sat down with me and they credit finding religion as a turning point in their lives, and it's dramatic turning
Massively.
points. And I can't critique that, mate.
Of course you can't.
If that is what... And it turns people into better people that want to help people that go out into the world and do good, mate, I'm all for it.
So think of it this way. So given your hypothesis there of... well, it's not even a hypothesis. It is what it is. It's either real or it isn't. Let's go with that. Like you could become a follower of Christ, like me. I'm a follower of Christ. I believe in him. I love him. He's changed my life. Now I'm either going to die as a good person because I'm not going to be a follower of Christ and be a bad person. And he's real, and I've got salvation for eternity, or I'm going to die as a good person and knowing I've lived my life, or whatever. It's been known as that I've lived my life as a good person. And what do you prefer? And I'm not saying just to try to be a good person, but it's one of them things. Like you did mention at the beginning there, Crusades. Now I'll touch on this because this is something that comes up quite a lot. People say, because do I believe that Christianity with Christianity does peace? With Christianity comes peace? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying with Christ comes peace. The Crusades happened and they were completely justified. I mean, that happened because of 7 centuries of pure Islamic aggression in Christian Syria. The Ottomans invaded there. Jordan, Palestine, Italy, France, Spain, Egypt. There is more. They were, it was all, they were all oppressed and you were occupied. They happened. The Crusades were launched 7 centuries after all of that had happened. As a protection of the faith, they were completely justified, in my opinion. Of course,
I'm not educated on that, so I don't. I know they existed.
Jamie, put up.
That's it. Yeah, I need a Jamie. Someone give me some stats. But yeah, I'm not educated in it. I don't know to say whether it was justified or not. I couldn't give my judgment on that. I mean, none of us ever truly know because we weren't there at the time. I guess it's the argument that you hear when I would say Christianity is a peaceful religion. People will always throw out, what about the Crusades where they murdered
100%.
through, and it was convert or die.
Yeah.
There's that element to it. But as I say, I think in modern day Christianity, I see it as a good thing.
100%.
Would I convert myself? No. At this point, I mean, I never say never. I don't know what my future holds. And if I were to ever find irrefutable evidence that God exists or Jesus exists, then who am I to say that I wouldn't convert? If I saw or was witness to something that I could not refute, would I adopt Christianity? Maybe, I don't know.
So it's a hard one, isn't it? Because I can't give you that because I have faith.
At the same time, James, I mean, me on a personal level, I don't feel that I need it because a long time ago, mate, I mean, I've gone through my own journeys and actions and all the rest of it. And I came to the conclusion that I need to just live my life and try to be a good person.
And it's all that matters.
That is it. That is my whole... And that doesn't mean, and I've said this a few times recently, because people can confuse being a good person to being a nice person. I never try to be a nice person. Because a nice person struggle to maintain their boundaries
100%.
A lot of the time.
I completely agree with you.
Nice people can be victim to being used and abused, essentially, because they're too nice to stand back. I can be an arsehole to the wrong people, but it's reactive. You know, I think I'm a good person, but a good person can fight for their boundaries.
100%.
You know,
And I'm not saying with Christianity you roll over and you let everyone do you over. That's not what I'm saying. We've all got points. I'm not saying that at all, but I know what you're saying. Everyone has got a limit.
Yeah, I don't think. For example, I think you can be violent but be a good person.
100%.
If the violence is justified and protect. Like, listen, you're walking down the street. Somebody, you're with your wife and kids. Somebody approaches you and tries to rob your wife.
100%. You're getting filled in.
Will a nice person react violently?
So I'll get you a new bag.
Like, oh no, it's okay. Just let him have it. It's fine. No, mate, I'm going to try and fucking take 100%. That person's head off. But I don't think that makes me a bad person.
No, it doesn't.
You know, I think that's a difference that I'm trying to portray.
I understand what you're saying. You know? And I would say a lot of that comes down to your masculinity as a man and your responsibilities as well. I would much rather die protecting my wife and her knowing that and my kids knowing that than me being a guy who's rolled over, oh, don't hurt me, 100%. Yeah. I'm totally with you there, 100 million%. But I do believe in being a man, you got to learn restraint and control the monster that's inside you.
Of course.
I'm a big believer in that. So, yeah, violence has always been an aspect of being a man, but also be able to control it, controlling that monster inside you. But so what I'm saying is be very capable of violence, but not having to use it.
It's saying, mate, isn't it? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a big believer of that as well. It's yeah, exactly that. It's being capable. I've always believed that my purpose, I think purpose, and I'll come back to that word, is so important. I think it's not just important, it's fucking vital. Because I think a person without a man, woman, child, whatever, with no purpose is lost and dangerous. That's when people go astray. I've always believed my purpose, and you can call me old-fashioned. There's people out there that, masculinity and all that bollocks. I just said it's bollocks. My purpose in life is to provide and protect for my wife and kids.
That's traditional. That's it. I'm about that too.
But that gives me my purpose.
100%.
That keeps me healthy. It keeps me mentally healthy because I know what I'm working towards. I know what my purpose in life is. I mean, you speak to my wife, she'll probably tell you that her purpose is protecting me. Like, she's a very strong woman. She's got her own way in life, and that's cool. I never step on that. But I still feel that it's my purpose to protect and look after her regardless. And as I say, mate, I think that's dead important. And going back to the religion side of things, where I'm at personally in my life, I feel that I've kind of got I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to provide and protect for my family. So if at the end of days, for me, it turns out that Christianity is the true faith, or whether it's Hinduism, Buddhism, being a Muslim, whatever it might be, I would like to think if there is any judgment, whichever way and whoever judges me, I'll be on the right side of that.
So
that makes sense.
100% makes perfect sense. And I watched a video of a young boy. His dad had just died, and he went to go see the last pope. And he says, I'm worried because my dad was an atheist. I'm not. I'm a Catholic. And I'm worried he's not going to heaven. He was a good man, blah, blah, blah. He just didn't believe in God. And the Pope said to him, he's raised a good boy. From what I know he's a good man. There is no way that he's not going to be refused into the kingdom of heaven because he had unanswered questions. And that's all you've got. You've got unanswered questions. You're a good man. My God would never turn you away just because you've got unanswered questions. You're a good man. I would say to you that if you are very open-minded, and when you have some time, just go sit on your own in a church and just say, I don't know what to say. I'm just here to feel a bit closer to you. See what happens. Just try it in your life.
I would struggle to do that, mate, because I would be speaking to something that I'm not convinced is there. Weirdly, my wife, if she ever listens to this, she'll be laughing now, because I'm weirdly drawn to churches and cathedrals, just purely because I'm fascinated by the architecture.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It blows my mind.
That's why I go cathedral.
Yeah. I was talking to you before about Poland. We won't go into that conversation, but I've only got so much time. I visited Krakow a few years ago now. I don't know, have you ever been?
Never been.
Mate, as a religious man, if you ever go, it's got more cathedrals than anywhere I've ever seen.
it, yeah,
but mate,
yeah.
some of the architecture, I don't know what it's called. There's one in particular. It's black. It's a black cathedral.
That's
Just
awesome.
fucking stunning,
Yeah,
and it
awesome.
blows my mind as a tradesman the craftsmanship that went into these buildings so long ago, and that, mate, they are beautiful, beautiful spaces.
Yeah.
And I've got a thing for cathedrals, to be honest, where on many occasions, if we visit cities, old buildings, architecture, where I'll always like to go in them and just sit and just take it in, because it blows my mind that mankind did this, like built this thing, that blows my mind. I look at some of the architecture and the structure in the world, and then I look at what we're churning out now, where we're so technologically more advanced.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't it?
When you've got people who are completely involved in the church and Christianity, and they're developing things like this, and then look at it all now, where it's religion it's very low, isn't it? Not many people are religious. I don't know. It's interesting. But what I can tell you is, ever since I've personally submitted completely to Jesus Christ, I've never been attacked personally as much for it than I've ever witnessed.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Spiritually or not physically attacked me, but definitely spiritually. Really weird stuff that scared the life out of me. And I thought, that famous saying, if you're favoured by God, you're also favoured by the devil. If you're one of God's people, don't expect the devil to be quiet about you.
There's something I heard the other day. It was in a song, actually, and it was, the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows.
100%. 100%.
That was one of those, mate. I can't even remember the song now, but I remember hearing the line and just being like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
That just those things that
100%.
penetrate the surface. But yeah, it is interesting, mate. I find. So, I mean, I studied psychology, and part of studying psychology was social science, and the studies of society. And I find it interesting just to zoom out and sit back and look at how society is going and moving, and what used to be a predominantly Christian nation. And I say used to be, because I do believe it used to be. I think religion is tapering out.
I don't think it is. Not anymore. The amount of young men and women I'm seeing at church, unless you've said it yourself.
I've just paused in the statement, mate, because I did just say earlier that I see more people going into it. I still don't think it's dominant.
No.
Nowhere near what it used to be, but maybe the tide is turning.
Isn't it interesting?
I think people in general, mate, and we go a bit deep here, but I think people in general are just a little bit lost right now. They're searching for something, and I feel it, mate. I went back to my wife the other day and I said, like, there's some days now where I go home and I do think, what is all this for? Like, I'm working my bollocks off. I'm living in the UK, so I'm being taxed left, right and centre. Quality of living isn't great. The weather's shit right now. So I don't know whether it's a bit of seasonal depression kicking in, but the weather's crap. And it's like, what is all this for? Like, I need something to give me the inspiration to go and achieve 100%. And be. And maybe that's where religion is plugging that gap for people, and is the way that the country's running, playing into that.
Can't answer that. It's a good question. It's a good observation.
That comes back to that word, mate, purpose. I think people are searching for that. What is all this for? What? Because a lot of people are struggling these days, mate. The UK in particular, it's not. I don't think it's an easy place to live now. We've got one of the highest costs of living versus wage ratio. Very unsafe and unstable country. What feels like it. Again, the media have got such a huge part to play. I think because, again, I mean, if you walk around, like if I walk around my town, if I had no social media, no phone, I'd be none the wiser, mate. None the wiser. Everything would be hunky-dory, really. But I do walk around with this impending sense of...
doom.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It's interesting. I think social media's got a big part to play in all of this.
One of the things I want to get into, mate, because I don't want to not have this conversation with you, but part of your background, like obviously we've touched on your business and even though religion, I didn't know we were going there, but we did. It's one of the things I love, mate, the tangents that the conversations go off on. But you're ex-armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about that side of your life?
Okay.
And we're back. Small toilet break for James, but we're back in the building. So, excuse me. Great introduction and a choke. Let's start again. No, mate, like I say, I want to touch on your past being, I guess, what made you the man that you are, because it's all a big part of the puzzle. You're a veteran. So, yeah, let's talk about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, so if I go a bit before then.
Absolutely.
So I grew up in your very stereotypical council estate, council family, struggling family. My mum and dad, I'll just say that they were very non-compatible. Love them both to bits, but yeah. They split up. It was very, very disruptive relationship they had.
What age
destructive.
were you?
I must have been, I think I was about 6.
Okay.
But obviously that was 6 years of shit, if you can imagine. And then the bit after that, then my mum met someone else, and it was nicer and stuff. But there was a bit where my mum was on her own for a long time, and she had 2 jobs to feed me and my brother. A stereotypical council estate that everyone goes through them struggles, She was a grafter. She did a lot. She didn't eat for some days just to feed me and my brother, and I seen it all. I've seen it happen. Seen the struggles we had. It was really difficult for my mum. What a grafter. From then on, high school, didn't really take to high school. Wasn't for me. Couldn't sit there. Couldn't take it all in. It was a waste of time. I have dreams now. I've had a dream recently. I was telling my wife the other day that I was back at school and the lads are waiting for me in the car park saying, "Come on, Jim, we've got to go to work." And I'm saying to the teachers, "Listen, I'm just wasting your fucking time. You're wasting my time. I'm off to work. I don't want to be here." And then when I left, I was left with nothing. You could spell fudge with my GCSEs. They were that bad, But it's numbers now. It's weird.
Yeah, it has gone weird. 10 to 1 to
whatever
10.
That is. Yeah. And then from then, I remember getting my results. My math teacher laughed at me when I got the results. I've actually never forgotten that. And I've tried finding him on LinkedIn and other things. To give him a bit of a shitty message back saying,
laughed at you?
Gave him my results and he laughed.
What a prick.
Yeah, what a bell end. But I deserved that. I didn't work for him at all. I didn't deserve the laugh, but that alone was my reality check. So I'm walking back into town to get the bus back home, thinking, what the fuck am I going to do now? So then I joined up. Well, no, I didn't. I went to retail for a little bit, working in a warehouse. My first ever boss, Kev Meads, he was the guy who'd get me out of bed at night. My mum would give him the keys and he'd go and get me. Then I joined up. I joined the Royal Navy. I joined the Royal Navy because I grew up in Catchet Garrison, which I don't know if you're familiar with that area.
I've heard, yeah.
It's an army garrison.
Yeah.
So you grow up not liking the army. My dad was a squaddy. Everyone I knew was a squaddy. So already I wasn't joining the army. So I joined the Navy because I wanted to travel, grow up. I needed to grow up, So I did that, and I originally joined as a chef for like a year.
Okay.
Yeah, not many people know that, and I hated it. I don't think I've ever been so low in my life. And as I was trying to leave, I got put on this course to be part of a squadron called P-Squadron. And P-Squadron was a anti-piracy, counter-terrorism branch up in Faslane, Scotland. And that was amazing. Met some tremendous lads there. You spend most of your time in the Middle East going through the Suez Canal protecting civilian cargo ships. And at the time, Afghanistan was on. So they would be sending they call them strategic ro-ro ships, which you'd know as a cargo ship, but be full of like military armament, so weapons, tanks, or whatever was on there. And you'd have to escort it through and things like that. It's really good. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And obviously the piracy was at its high as well. It was good fun. It was good.
You ever have any experiences with pirates? Are we talking like off coast of Somalia, that kind of thing?
Yeah, you have lots of attempts, if you will. Yeah, I mean, half the time I've had it when the bootnecks had captured pirates and put them on the ship as well, and then you've got to take them away and things. It's really interesting, the kind of stuff. You
I've
go
always
through-
seen, like, to me, mate, I know nothing about this stuff, but I'll see the stuff you see on the news and the social media and stuff, and you see like these massive ships, and then you've got like these guys in like what look like a canoe with a motor on the back of it.
with RPGs and AK-47s.
Yeah,
yeah,
is that the truth of it?
Yeah, pretty much. But what they'll do is, they'll call it dicking, and they'll watch you for a few days. Now, what they don't know is they've got 10 armed forces lads there with GPMG machine guns, to be perhaps a Mark 44 minigun, probably not, but generally GPMG machine guns and your assault rifles, SA-80 rifles, and they won't know that till a bit too close, because it's not a military ship.
Right.
It's not a big grey ship with the big numbers on there. It's completely looking like a strategic civilian cargo ship.
But that'll still be Royal Navy.
It'll be some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them will be like paid subcontractors.
Okay.
You've got another company called RFA, Royal Fleet Auxiliary. They'll do the transportation logistics. Their job is to supply the Royal Navy, basically. But when they're not, you get your strategic ro-ro ships, which are container ships run by civilian contractors. Right. Which is where they haven't got a fucking clue. So they'll dick you for however long, and they'll attempt to board you. So they'll get to probably about 200 metres close to you till they'll see everyone there with the weapons and stuff, and that's when you got to go through your process of fuck off, are you getting it, sort of thing. It was good. It was really good. But I'm giving you the 5% because 95% of it you just bored shitless. But yeah, there's some funny stories about that. To be fair, I won't give you the bad stuff, but the funny story is I remember you get called quick draw. So if anything was to happen, your man on the bridge. There's only 10 of you. The rest are civilians. There's only 10 armed forces guys on these ro-ro ships. You'll get quick draw, target aft, whatever. FIAC. So that's like a speedboat, if you will. Coming at you. Normally, there's like 3 of them, and you got to run to your locations. It's designated locations. Set up with your GPMG. Have you seen a GPMG?
No,
Favorite
no.
fucking weapon in the world, mate. They're probably about 1.5 meters long, and you shoot them on a
tripod,
tripod,
right,
yeah. Great weapon. Anyway, so you go set up and away you go. But this time I got a quick draw, and it was dead early in the morning, and I picked up. You didn't have lockers because you're on a civilian ship, so you got your GPMGs in the room with you, So I get my helmet. I put my armour on. I got my pink boxer shorts on, and I got my GPMG, and I'm running down, like giving it fucking stacks down the back after the ship. My mates will all piss themselves on the bridge, going to see my pink ass running all the way down. They must have thought it was a YMCA ship or something.
That's how to terrify a pirate, eh? You're shouting, fuck off, or you're getting it, and they're wondering what you mean.
But yeah, actually, we talk about mental health. That was my first. That was. It's going to take a turn this, so I do apologise. Before that actual deployment, I witnessed my first suicide, and we went to Southampton, Marchwood, and we all decided, us and the lads. I think it was this deployment. I might be wrong, but it was definitely on a strategic ro-ro. We got to Southampton, Marchwood, and we go into town in Marchwood or Southampton, one of the ones. And one of the guys just said, I think he said, no, don't do it. And I looked in the distance in the multi-story car park, and this guy didn't even hesitate, just ran and jumped off the top of it. And that sound will stick to me the rest of my life. I mean, of him hitting the deck. And I just stood there in shock. I've seen some crap, but I've never seen someone willingly and quickly take their own life in such a way, and he just like me and you, mate, normal man, just jumped off, and he hit the floor like the only thing I can describe it as, if you've not seen anything like this, and I'm sorry if it triggers some of your watchers, is imagine getting some kilo plate, like 40 kg worth of weights plates, and just dropping it from a height, and that noise of it hitting the floor, that's the snap of his bones. So luckily, I say luckily because the man obviously died, but he didn't die instantly. So we get to the scene, and luckily our medic was out with us, our team medic, and he gets there first while we're like, what is just going on here? Ringing an ambulance and stuff. And And as he was doing the compressions on his chest, he was like ribs to floor. There was just nothing left. And when we get close to him, you can see he's dying, but he's got tears down his face. I couldn't even tell you his name, but that ruined me for a long time. I've seen some crap, but to see someone be that low.
Was that one of the guys from the name?
No, just a complete stranger. I couldn't even tell you his name. Complete random guy. And do you know what got me the most was when the paramedics came, two ambulances came, and they took him away in one. We tried to obviously preserve his life, but he got put in an ambulance, taken away, and then the other paramedics were just like laughing, and not laughing at the situation, but like it was a normal thing for them to see, like another day in the office.
I guess they get desensitised to it, mate. They must see some horrific things on a daily basis, and unfortunately, I mean, suicide's the biggest killer of men under 50.
Yeah.
So it's a fucking daily event, mate.
35, I read the other day.
35 a day?
No, under 35.
Oh, under 35.
For males, yeah.
Do you know, there's a misconception with that as well, James, that because we say it's the biggest killer of men under, there's this misconception that, oh, well, when you get to 50, obviously it levels. It don't. The rates stay the same. It's just comorbidities catch up.
Yeah.
So things like cancer and heart disease catch up to suicide, but the rates don't drop off. It's not that when you get to 50, men are less at risk, which I think is a bit of a misconception when people are like, oh, yeah, but, you know, after 50, they're a bit more stable. No, it's not. It's horrific, mate. I mean, just in the construction industry alone at the moment, I mean, it's really hard to get statistics as well. It's hard to find the facts. But the ONS, I think the latest figures put it at over, it's 2 point something per week just in construction. So that's like, no, is it 2? Oh my God, I'm losing my stats here. 2 a week, 10. No, it's 2 a day. Sorry. Over 2 a day. So it's over 10 a week that are currently taking their own lives in construction. So imagine the amount of families, mate.
But mate,
on a weekly basis.
In the last 2 weeks, I've known a guy die every week. So one guy died last week, and another one died the week before that. They both had mental health problems. They both died because of drugs. I don't believe they wanted to die, but people tend to take drugs because of mental health. That's in the last 2 weeks. In my life, probably about 10.
Yeah.
It's crazy, men and women. You know,
it is, mate. And I'll talk about the construction statistics, but the statistics, I saw a thing worldwide. It was like worldwide because it's in the hundreds of thousands worldwide, and it was like, I saw a stat the other day, and it was something like 11,327 people have taken their own lives already this year.
It's unfathomable,
isn't it?
It's just, we've all been low. I've told you about my low points. Don't ever think I could ever be in a position where, well, I hope I'm never in a position where I feel that low that I think the only option is to take my own life. How scared you must be, to go through that mind process.
Yeah.
And lonely. It's awful.
It is, mate. It's terrible. It really is. It's one of the things I was hoping, just by doing the podcast and talking about it, that it'll just help somebody, somebody to speak out before that stage. Because it's cumulative. It takes a while on most occasions to get to that point as a build-up, and catching things before they ever get to that stage, or speaking out when you're at that stage. But yeah, it's horrific, mate. It doesn't... I've sat down with, again, many people, many guests that have either... Obviously, the fact that we've sat down with them, I've never sat down with anyone that has taken their own life, goes without saying. But I've sat down with people that have made attempts and got to the point of making attempts.
Wow.
And they all say similar things, mate, which is that at that point, they genuinely feel that everyone in the world is better off without them being here.
It's crazy.
And that it doesn't come from a point of selfishness. It's a point almost, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's almost at a point of selflessness where they truly believe the world would be a better place without them here. Whether that's their loved ones, that they just feel that they're this huge burden on life, society, their loved ones, that it would be better.
There's a new trend, and I use that word lightly. There's a new trend going on where they don't kill themselves now. Some of these guys are doing is going to Ukraine on a death mission, I know one of them who was there. He told me he went over there
For that reason.
for that reason. He says,
Fuck yeah.
I don't talk about his story because it's not my place to tell. But he went over there, fought as a mercenary. He's still there now. He's had no military experience. And he went through, and he thought, I'm going to go there as a last stand sort of thing. And I think he's coming home soon. But there's a lot. I've heard that story quite a few times.
Yeah.
I work quite closely with Healthier Heroes, which was a veteran-led charity, because like construction, it's an issue with veterans; they get forgotten about.
Yeah.
And I work quite closely with them because that means a lot to me. I went to a Christmas gala with my wife because we got invited, and there was a guy there who also went to Ukraine. He was been to jail, drugs, just completely forgotten about society. But yeah, went to Ukraine just can you imagine that?
No, I can't. I mean, they've got the phenomenon in the States, haven't they? Death by cop.
Yeah.
Is it a common one where it's a form of suicide is to, but I guess that's the same thing in a way.
Death with glory, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Christ. Yeah. No, I hadn't even imagined that angle, mate. I can't say I've heard of that myself. I mean, I guess my circles that I move in are probably a bit different, but
Of course.
yeah, wow.
And it's only a recent thing. I mean, how long's Ukraine been going on? What, 2 years?
Yeah.
2, 3 years?
Yeah.
That's only a recent thing, but that is a thing. That is definitely a thing. And there's that guy now, he was captured by the Russians and he's in jail now. I think he's been sentenced to death, I'm not too sure. But I think he went for the same sort of purpose. It's quite a few. They've actually got a legion, a squadron in Ukraine for foreign nationals.
Christ.
But if you're watching this and you're thinking that sounds really cool, it's not, because you're getting used as pure cannon fodder. And that's just battle tactics. They would rather cherish their own.
Well, you're unskilled, for one, aren't you? I mean, people that enter the military, obviously, they get a lot of money invested in them. So with the training, the equipment, and all the rest of it, if you've got, it's just again, it's almost like a business decision. If you've got one highly trained person that you've maybe invested, £100,000 into versus a civilian that's come over that wants to have a go, you've got the equipment that you're going to provide them, but the cost is a lot less per head. It's just tactics, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't think of nothing worse myself, mate. It's not fighting another person's war. Again, I think that could get very political.
Yeah, that's not.
But I couldn't think of nothing worse than putting myself in that position.
No,
it's a bizarre one. Strange, actually, because not to touch. When I was working as a bailiff, so I spent 4 years doing that, and there was quite a crossover. There was quite a few ex-military people that came into that, and I spoke to a couple of them, and they really struggled to see. When I speak to somebody that's been in the military, I stand there and I'm like, don't know how you do it. I couldn't imagine putting myself in a position where I'm getting shot at. Like, to me, fuck no. Like, hands up, that is not for me. But doing that job, there was quite a few of the ex-military lads that actually struggled with the unpredictability of it. And they would turn around to me and be like, fucking, how do you do this? I'm like, how do I do this? How did you do that? And they were like, yeah, but it was all very sort of like planned out. It was like, yeah, the guys over there in green are the baddies, or black or blue or fucking pink, whatever. They're the baddies. We stand this side, they stand that side. We know there's like, terms of engagement and all the rest of it. Whereas doing that job, it was so unpredictable. You never knew what was behind door A and door B, that they struggled to get to grips with that element of it. Which was just a strange observation for me, because I always thought, to do the job where you're putting yourself in a position where you're getting shot at, you'd have to have balls of steel, which no doubt the guys and girls of the forces do. But yeah, it wouldn't be for me, that one. So to choose to go over to Ukraine, fuck that, man.
There's some fucking hardcore people out there.
Oh,
some hardcore people.
No doubt, mate.
Like some absolute units.
How long did you spend in the Navy?
We digressed, didn't we?
We did a little bit,
That's your fault.
Oh, mate, yeah, you weren't there for it.
I did 7 years, and from there I ended up working for Helen in construction. She had a company with two others where they built like modular homes, modular buildings, modular classrooms, and all over the country. And I joined that for 18 months, and then I got. I did tell Helen. I said the only thing that ever stopped me from working here is if I get a contract abroad, because that seems to be like a natural progression for any veteran is to go abroad. And funny enough, I got a contract working in Iraq. I love that. I absolutely love that. So basically, my job was life support. So you get these blue chip companies like Shell, BP, ZPEC, all them kind of stuff, Samsung, all them, where they'll go into a very hostile area, wherever it will be in the world. Say Iraq in this instance. We found an oil well. We want to build a camp here. We want it to be sustained. We want to then go and mine that well, refine that well, make it happen. So then you would all tender on that and you would win it. And our job was to do that, provide that infrastructure for that to enable that. That spins off in all sorts of different kind of angles. We spoke briefly about my dad. My dad was also in the similar industry. And my uncle's still there now. My dad was heavily security involved. So his job was working for the Arab Summit. He was bomb disposal. He was a weapons engineer. There was people out there, I swear to God, were telling me stories of my dad who didn't even know I was his son out there. Funny stories. And you talk about a guy who's done weapons engineering for 40 years. You know, I remember going shopping with him before he'd go away on his rotations. He'd be going to B&M and getting little bits of paper clips and bits of belt buckles, all things to repair weapons out there. Really insane. And this, when I was out there, this is all the height of ISIS as well. When all that was happening, it was good fun. So
the fact you refer to it as good fun.
I was a single man.
Yeah.
I was a single man at the time. It was great. It was a really good job, profession to have. So I was based at one stage in Basra. You got Baghdad, Basra. And there was a camp there, Rue BP. It was a BP contract, and we were actually demobilising a contract. And I'd set all the men off for the day, for their jobs. Flicked the kettle on. I looked to my left. I was like, fucking no way. My dad walks in Basra, Iraq. And have I missed this? I was like, fucking, I missed it. And he's coming in and he goes, all right, so how you doing? I'm like, what are you doing here? So I made him inspect all the weapons on camp. I'm like, all right, do you want a brew? He's like, yeah. we ended up watching the Conor McGregor v Khabib fight on the laptop.
Yeah, no. That was, Of all the people, of all the places in all the world, and you, Jesus Christ, mate.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah. So he was a very interesting guy, my old man. He's done it all. He loves it. Things I can't say on here, obviously. Yeah, but that was a really like fucking hell.
Did you ever come into contact with ISIS and all that while you were over there?
I got in contact with ISIS. Luckily, I never personally got in contact with ISIS, but I did get in contact with guys who supported ISIS. And over here too.
Over here as well.
Yeah. It was like the old Hamas thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Similar sort of support at the time. But over there, no, not really. I didn't get, because where I was based, you always you always got security around you. You've got like armoured convoys, and if you, think about it now, the kind of stuff I was doing. I mean, I was in the middle of Baghdad, outside the green zone, in a normal hotel on my own. So the company I worked for was like, fucking, you've got to go look at this contract with this company. We've got you a convoy. You're staying here. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
That's crazy, man.
And I'm like, fucking sleeping. And it's only like a few years ago I thought, what was going on?
I've spoke to a few lads, mate. There's a few ex-armed forces that have been on the podcast. Some of their books are on the shelf over there. And some of the stuff that they talk about post-services, doing CP work, is more frightening than the actual...
What do you mean?
Just in terms of some of the situations.
After the work. Yeah.
So when they've gone private, it sounds more terrifying.
But it is, because you haven't got the support.
Yeah.
It's you on your own. You imagine if I get kidnapped, or you get kidnapped in that kind of area, how much are you worth to your family? If you think about that, they're also thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Even the guys who dropped me off out there, I remember them thinking, is this where you're staying? Oh, apparently so. Like, there's little things like that all the time. That company was set up by that I work for. I feel like I'm talking at you here, mate. I do apologise.
No, not at all, mate.
She was a very tough woman. So she went, during the Second Gulf War, she would drive around Iraq selling sanitary ware to women during the war. It's just a regular person. She's got no military experience or anything. Very, very tough woman. And she was a German lady called Nicole, and she developed this company. A very ruthless, powerful woman. You meet powerful people.
Yeah.
She was definitely a powerful woman. And a boss, her second in command, if you will, was a guy called Andrew Martin. He is actually ex-colonel in the SAS, New Zealand SAS. He was also the All Blacks manager as well. So strangely, when he left the SAS, he went straight away became the All Blacks manager for a couple of terms, and then went and did what he did best and started. But it's all Cowboys Indians in that game, mate.
Yeah.
I've got loads of stories about that. All Cowboys Indians. It's all backhanders. It's all about who you know. I remember we set up a contract in a place called Majnoon. Now, I don't know about your history, if you know your history well in that kind of conflict. Majnoon was a place where Iran invaded, I'm sure it was Iran, invaded Iraq when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait.
Okay.
So it's a war-torn place. It's full of battle-hardened people, our age. They've seen it all. You know, these guys are tough local nationals. They are tough guys. We won a contract over someone else there. We mobilised it. Part of your contract is you need to use local suppliers. If you're using local suppliers, there's caveats to that. As I said before, this is very Cowboys Indians. This is very gangland almost stuff that you do.
It's like the Wild West, though, isn't it?
It's like the fucking Wild West,
It's unstable over there. It's been war-torn. It's unstable.
100%.
And it is the Wild West. It's people coming in and trying to take what they can while it's unstable, really.
So you say I'm using local suppliers. Using local suppliers you're told to use. So what happens is you all set up your nice. You've got everything you need to. You're waiting for delivery of water or something. Where's my water? Day two goes, where's my water? We need water. You ring them up. What's going on? Yeah, the rates have gone up. All your water's held up at a checkpoint. You now have to pay us this, and you have to pay it. There's no way. There's no other way around it. You have to pay it, and that's what it's like. It's crazy, and that. So I'm going to lead on to something else here. But when I stopped, I became unemployed doing that because I left. Because I met my wife, and there was lots of things happening which I thought, it's not fair on you, I'll leave, to do with all that stuff. And I became a freelancer to the company then. So I'm at home during COVID, I'd just come back, COVID happens, and you remember that dickhead, is it Ed Miliband?
He's one of them.
Yeah, he's one of them. He decided to get his friends to set up these PPE companies for masks and things. And all these SME companies were saying, we've got all this PPE for the doctors and stuff, but no one's listened to us. Yeah, it's because them pricks were setting up companies and giving these contracts to the mates. Now, as this was going on TV, saying, was a PPE shortage, or I think it was a contract award for this PPE supplier, says, you know what this is, Jess? She goes, what? Because someone's given these a backhand. Something's happened behind the doors, because I've read in a different article that these SMEs have this PPE. Look. I said, this is all corrupt as fuck. It turns out it was, and it came out 3 years later. That's exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And that stuff happens in that kind of environment all the fucking time. You win contracts by how much bribery you're going to give them.
Yeah.
I loved it though.
Mate, it's the world, the way the world works, isn't it? Unfortunately, we're a little bit sheltered over here, so we kind of think that it don't go on. But of course, it does.
Even over in construction, it happens. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. Backhanders.
Mate, it used to be rife. Christ, I mean, my business, like I say, I'm fourth generation. My granddad, when he set his business up, he used to do a lot of school contracts, hospital contracts, stuff like that. Mate, it was all backhanders to the QS.
Yeah.
Always, it'd be like, I remember Christmas time, he'd go round and he'd be taking, the bottles of envelope and a bottle of whiskey to various people. Oh, this is the person that gets me these contracts. This is who gets me these. And that was what made the world go round. And in a lot of places, like over there, it still is.
Massively.
Hell of a culture shock for you, though.
What was?
Going over and experiencing that.
Well, I'd already been with them. So with my military experience, I spent most of my military time working in the Middle East.
Okay.
So we'd do 4 months on, 4 months off. So we'd spend our training development would be in Faslane, Scotland. What a place to do it. while your other contingent would be out there.
Could you get any polar opposites like Scotland?
I know, right? Yeah, what a place to train. Go on, train in Bahrain or something, and then you'd go over and you'd go to Middle East. You'd be amongst Dubai and Bahrain and Djibouti, all them kind of places. So I've seen it all anyway. It's highly trained environmentally for the people, the culture, the religion, the warfare in that sort of aspect. So I knew that anyway. And do you know what? They are lovely people. They are lovely, lovely people. What became because they're so lovely people. Whenever you get meetings with them, you go meet the town, the village sheikh, the guys in charge of the village. You'd have like 3-4 visits in a day, but they'd all stick like a fucking buffet on for you. But you'd, like, and you have to eat it. You know, you can't
offend them by not eating. Yeah.
So you're like, oh my god. And they have this thing called chai, which is basically a tea with no milk, but like 8 sugars in it.
Okay.
And you got to drink it as well, and it's like, oh my god. You know. But yeah, it is a culture.
Do you know what though, mate? What life experience for you?
Oh, it's great.
Like in terms of being cultured, travelling the world, all that kind. Because it's all stuff that then all that experience you bring into your business, don't you?
Massively.
You know.
Yeah, massively.
So it was meeting your wife and all that pulled you out of that lifestyle.
My wife has a daughter, Octavia, who I took on almost since I love her to bits. There was a build up to what happened, how I left the private contracting, to me to say, look, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. It's getting a bit touch and go. I was getting threats and stuff threats from people you don't want to be getting threats from. And I kind of just felt, you know, it's not just me anymore.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call saying, the company's being sold now. Can you come meet us in Iraq and do the proper handover? Because I had a laptop full of all the corporate sensitive information for that company. But to a company who's buying the company I work for, that's worth millions and millions of dollars. And I was directed not to give it to anyone. So you imagine I was getting this shit. So I said, I'm not going back to Iraq for this fucking laptop. Not after the last time. I said, I'll meet you in Dubai. So I met him in Dubai and gave it, and away I went. But there was I'm giving you loads of grey areas there. I understand. I'm sorry, but then I thought, Jess, I'm not doing it anymore. So, however, I still get offered to go back now.
Really?
Yeah. Can you come for a few days and come for a couple of weeks? I'm like, no. Jess, can I go?
Is it something that you'd do, that you would like to do?
Again?
Yeah.
So you got to weigh the pros and cons with it. So the money's fantastic. Money's fantastic. I miss out on my son, I miss out on my daughter, I miss out on my wife. What's more important?
Absolutely, mate.
What's more important?
Nobody cares about the money when you're in the graveyard.
And they don't give a fuck about you. They just replace you.
Yeah.
The money's great, but my family's better. I'm not here for money. I don't. There's not one aspect of my life where money is a goal for me. It's not. Growth is. How can I be a better person? How can I grow each week? How can I improve my life? How can I improve someone else's life? Money's not part of that at all. That's took me a long time. I mean, a long years. This has only happened in the last couple of years where I've started thinking, how can I grow as a person here, rather than chasing that, pictures of the king or the queen, what you want to call them, but.
Takes some time to get to you, mate. I think we've all been through that. I've been through it myself. You go through that process of your goals in life. And I found this in the first marriage. It was like my, I guess, marker of success was house, car, bank account.
Yeah.
But that's what we're told. We're told that from a young age. So you have to forgive yourself for that as well. That, we're told the metric of success is nice house, nice car, blah, blah, blah. And it takes some working out to realise that actually, as nice as those things are, it doesn't quantify who you are as a human. So yeah, it's a journey you've been on, mate. I mean, you're only getting started as well, to be fair. There's a lot of time in front of you. You know what I mean? You've done a lot in a short span by the sounds of things. Where are you looking to take the future? I mean, you said that you're getting into the coaching realm now with construction.
Right, yeah. So where I foresee this gap is I can help people. You know, again, I'm not chasing this. Nothing to do with money. It's more of a case of I need to improve this industry. Just the property industry at the moment is so shit in education. It's okay teaching people how to do your HMOs, your development, still teach them the process and how to do that. What they don't teach them is the deliverable, the execution of that. And that's where if it's going to fuck up, it's going to be the actual doing of it. And I blame a lot of me being ripped off based on the lack of understanding and education on their part. And some of the kind of money getting thrown around on education, I mean, some of these coaches are charging like over $1,000 a month for these property professionals and teaching them how to do these HMOs and teach them how to do this, teach them how to do that for like an hour a week, 2 hours a week. And you think, how are you doing that? I mean, why are you doing that? So I've vowed I'm going to change the space, improve everyone's skill set. Let's face it, because of our current government, let's just be real, our current government is making it even harder for anybody to make money. More so for property professionals who are trying to make money on their projects. So what does that mean for them? Well, they're going to have to start managing these projects themselves. They're going to have this knowledge and understanding that we have in a short amount of time to not get burnt on these projects. If I do a project for a property professional, I'm already 40% over cost. Why is that? Because I'm 20% VAT and I'm going to make some money on it, 20%. That's 40% over what the cost of the job should be. That's an automatic 40% saving, or 35% because they get 5% VAT. Is it 35%? Relief. So they're going to be saving on that project. Manage your own jobs. All we can do. Well, how can you manage your own jobs? You know nothing about CDM. You've always relied on a main contractor. You need to do it yourself, unfortunately, to make money. And that's where I'm stepping into showing them. It's not just project management. It's everything. It's showing you how you do diligence. How do you prepare your pre-construction? And the people I'm working with now, I'm saving them so much money, and they're actually in a position now where they can make their own construction company. Isn't that great? Where they can actually do it themselves and for the people.
Seems like a glaring gap in the market, to be fair.
It's a massive gap.
Yeah.
You've seen it all the time. But they're quite happy to spend 20, 30 grand to some coach telling them how to the dream. But not this because it's not sexy.
Always look at, mate, there's so many of these things, isn't there, whether it comes to any type of coaching. But a lot of it, like with some of them, you have to question the rates they're charging as a coach. Why they now make it? Why is all their money coming from being a coach when they're so good at what they do? Yeah. Shouldn't the money be coming from over there?
100%.
And then it always rings a bit of an alarm bell for me where I'm like, I don't quite get it. Like, there's certain people out there that you can see that have done really, really well for themselves and they coach, and it's more of a calling, right? It's not that they're trying to sell these huge, massive coaching commitments and courses. Of course. And then there's others that they do ring alarm bells to me. Massively.
And there's loads of them, mate. There's absolutely loads of them. Bogus people just taking money off people.
Yeah.
I would rather have 10 people I'm coaching to give them so much value for barely nothing. You know, it's my hourly rate I'm spending with them, and they're getting so much value from that. And that means so much to me.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, in the property space is a mess, mate. I see it all the time.
I agree, mate. I agree. I mean, I don't want to move past this without giving you the opportunity. So if anyone is listening to this or has heard this and wants to get in touch with you, where do they find you?
Of course, mate. So Instagram, I can give you my details.
Yeah, give it. You shout it out now.
Yeah, so
shout it out. I'll tag it anyway.
But. Yeah, it's JC Kelly 1990. I think is my Instagram handle. James Connor Kelly is my Facebook handle. That's primarily what I use. And my website is Quayside with a Q, so QUAY, quaysideconstruction.co.uk. I want to work with you. I want to change industry one person at a time. You know,
I'll tag your account. So wherever you're listening to this, whatever platform it is, scroll down to the episode description below. There'll be a link to James's. What's your main platform? You say Facebook.
Facebook, really.
I'll put the Facebook one on there. I'll put a couple on there if I can.
Perfect.
Go and give James a follow. But if you need to reach out to him or talk to him about anything that we've spoken about today, that is where you'll find him.
Thank you very much.
yeah, with that in mind, mate, it's been a fucking pleasure.
Hope
It's
you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it.
multifaceted conversation, which I love. And yeah, I hope everybody obviously listening has enjoyed. I'm sure you will. But yeah, mate, with what you're doing, all the best.
God bless you, mate.
I
Thank
think you've got a lot to give, which is great to see. And I can see, yeah, the coaching thing is a massive gap, huge gap in the market. Wish you all the best in business, mate. I'll keep an eye on it, and hope it takes off.
We'll have a chat in a year's time. You'll see where I am.
Be interested, mate. 100%. I love doing that. I love the catch ups. It's great to see the growth that comes in. So yeah, really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. God bless.
Yeah, to everyone listening, thank you for staying with us. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. It does really make a difference to the platform. Catch you soon on the next one. Yeah,